The Prince Philip Challenge Trophy between Marlow Rowing Club on the left-hand side of your screen and Greenwich Crew on the right-hand side of your screen. And Marlow, well, they are taking advantage of these first few strokes as much as possible. Really dynamic and really quite gutsy from them.
Yeah, coached by Sophia Heath and part of the squad that Pete Chambers is, of course, head coach for. And yeah, really look at that, straight on it. Quite high rate out of the start there. Very aggressive. It's so important to try and nudge ahead, get some confidence coming out of the island, and see if you can, put the other crew under more pressure. But of course, they've had a few days to get used to this now, and the crew from Greenwich getting into their stride, getting into their rhythm. They're just a little, perhaps a canvas down on Marlow, but the lovely shot of the crew there.
Yeah, the crew from Greenwich has travelled all this way after that second placing, like you say, Kath, at the head of the Charles, which, if you're not familiar, it's one of the biggest sort of time trial style races in the world. It takes place on the Charles in Boston, and I would say probably renowned as one of the most prestigious kind of head races in the world.
It's brilliant fun, has schools, clubs, internationals, veterans of all sorts of age categories, and yeah, if you do well there, then you know you've got a crew that might do well later in the year. And so, you know, again, crews putting each other under pressure now.
A great start there from Marlow, though. They look really well levered, actually, I would say. You know, they're really, getting hold of the boat and they're levering it really well with their hips, which I think a lot of people think about rowing as being, either arms or lots of legs, but actually it's being able to combine all of that in a movement that Marlow are doing really well. Now, we're shifting in on a close-up here of Greenwich Crew, who are still keeping the rating high. They've not managed to shake off Marlow just yet. And do you think they were expecting to be in this position? These guys who, again, second place at the Youth 8 Nationals and the head of the Charles, with a record like this, still being kept in touch by Marlow.
Well, let's see what happens when the shot pans out. I think they were starting to move, and you can see there's quite a lot of power here. There's a smoother style in Marlow, but I do think we've got some power in that Greenwich Crew that is starting to help them to move ahead. The Marlow crew have got, they're part of a squad that's grown over the last 3 years, as Marlow have a long-term plan to grow their junior squad. It's grown from 64 to 121 over the last 3 years, all in line with their long-term plan to become one of the best clubs for developing junior rowing. And they talk about their true north is to develop a lifelong love of rowing in our juniors as well as adults, to make sure they're the best junior club in Britain, and to create rowers who are brilliant at the basics. And that's what you can see there. Very well drilled. The technique is good. They just haven't quite got the power of the Greenwich Crew.
Yeah, absolutely love the way that Claudia Kerry-Roger rows there in the stroke seat of the Marlow crew, not wasting anything around either end of the stroke, but also staying nice and long to lead. And that's what you want from a good stroke person, right? Somebody that can keep the length, not get flustered, but keep the rest of the crew rhythmical and calm. But Greenwich here, as you say, I think at the moment for me, it's just a lot of power, isn't it? There's some good things going on in this crew. They're obviously, very strong, but quite upright around the back turn, I would say, Kath, which in an 8, the sort of different schools of thought about whether you lean back quite a lot or stay nice and upright around the finish.
Yeah, it's a direct style, that's what I would say. Yeah, they're getting the work on very effectively. And, it's perhaps going to be smoothed out and under pressure. You've got to make sure that you can kind of lift from there. But they've got a great base speed there that is based around a lot of power. I'd imagine that, these girls stroked by Ada Beck, Percy Wayne at 7, Phoebe Wise at 6, Catherine Roof at 5, Julia Doss at 4, Lauren Kirster at 3, Brooke Leganzowski at 2, and Bow Cassidy McKee. I'm thinking that they've had a pretty tough programme through the winter to give them that power that is allowing them to row away from Marlow there.
See, to me, I think that, maybe we'll see them build through the regatta here, but Greenwich they're just slipping through the water a little bit, I would say, as they come now into the enclosures. They probably aren't burying their blades quite as deep, maybe, as we see some other crews, and it looks great, but I think we could maybe just see a little bit more lock-on from them before they start driving the legs down.
Well, we'll see, won't we, when, at the moment they're getting the power on, and their power has really come through for them against the Marlow crew. But there's a lot of learning, I think, going on both these crews. There's quite a lot of experience within that US crew that is perhaps helping them to be a bit wilier, a bit cannier in using the power that they've got. They've got some shots there. It's direct. They're getting the rudiments right, and there's something about, you can be very pretty, but if you can't actually get the power in the water, then it's not going to work. And they've definitely focused on that. It's a power style, very direct on, and they're doing that effectively. We've often seen US internationals crews dominate the world by having a fairly direct style, and there's definitely, that is working for them. And there's experience. We've got US youth national champions, we've got under 23 youth nationals in that Greenwich crew. So this experience, and I think just the years of rowing, the years of the kilometres on the water, the kilometres on the ergo that have gone into this Greenwich crew, it's paying off for them. They've got too much power for the Marlow crew.
Yeah, and look, Marlow here not giving up, and this crew coxed by Isabel Massey, just 16 years of old there, years of age there, with her back to us, and she's leading out, the only athlete that's got any experience down the Henley track there in the stroke seat, Claudia Carey-Roger, and they will be relishing this experience to go down this iconic course. Francesca Wilson, Ayla Wilkinson, Ellen Hobart, Henrietta Olney, Aoife Turner, Rebecca Purvis and Georgina Wells in the bow seat, who's back to us now. And you can see that 1871, a club with such rich history, Kath, of which you're donning yourself a Marlow Rowing Club blazer, a club that will continue to perform here at Henley Royal Regatta, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and they've really committed. They were known sort of previously for the junior rowing, and now with these exciting events at Henley Royal Regatta, there's an opportunity to build junior women's rowing as part of that, and they have a fantastic junior learn to row program. Most of these athletes have just learned in the last year or two. They're 16, even 15. Aoife Turner at 3 in the Marlow crew. They are young. They'll be back next year, and they'll have learned valuable lessons from competing here today. They'll be proud, but they'll go home knowing, I want to come back. I want to be in next year's Prince Philip Challenge crew.
Oh, just loving the way that this Greenwich crew into the line is really letting the boat float towards them. They just really started relaxing there on the way forward, sort of bouncing onto the next stroke, and it looked really lively through the line there. They'll wait for Marlow to clap them home, and job well done. High fives all round here for Greenwich USA, who in this Prince Philip Challenge Trophy will look forward to the next round of competition. So a big thank you here to Kath Bishop, who's joined me in the commentary box for the last hour. But now, next on the mic, we've got Fergus Mainland sliding in to pick up with the next round of racing.